All right. Welcome on into Shovel Knight, King of Cards. We're going to be jumping in for some God mode, which is definitely a real thing and a thing all of you can do. There's a cheat code on speedrun.com for this category. You can play it and go real fast and never die. So time is going to start when I select yes. Just a bit of info because things go super quick. I can't die unless I get crushed. Pits don't exist, spikes don't hurt me. I have all of my power-ups and unlimited vigor to use them with. So we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. And like I said, things are gonna start pretty quickly. We're gonna learn out that King Knight can fly. Which is, you know, flying is pretty useful in a speedrun most of the time. I'm also at about 300% speed, which is nice, but makes things pretty hard to control at times. So I'm going to be using as many of my abilities to kind of keep things in check as possible. And we're just going to zoom through these stages. Going to spend more time loading from stage to stage than anything else. We're gonna see our mom at one point, but she's gonna try to sell us some meat pie, and it doesn't smell quite right, so we're gonna pass that up as well. I forgot to mention King Knight is also basically a Dark Souls boss. We've got a flaming sword that comes in handy, like right here. I don't know how he doesn't get dizzy, but alright. So there are going to be a few bosses in this run. If you've seen any of the other Shovel Knight campaigns, you've probably used to quite a few bosses. There's only 4 or 5 for King Knight. They put a bunch of optional overworld events instead of fighting all the individual knights. But the bosses will go pretty quickly, thankfully. Except for the first one, which we're going to fight here, because Spectre Knight is special, and he gets iframes, and iframes make things take longer. But the scepter that I'm using to zoom around, not these are the boots. The scepter I'm using to zoom around will do 3 points of damage each hit, so kind of makes up for Spectre Knight having iframes. All the other bosses we can just bully and hit as quickly as possible. A lot of the strats for God mode, which yes, they are actually strats, really mimic New Game Plus, which is a pretty impressive category because you get to utilize all of these abilities as well, just not to the same extent. Oh yeah, and dog for... We just had a cat and dog, so I know it looks like a black void, but yeah, we didn't want any of Mom's meat pies. She like cooks them at home and then tries to sell them, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't have a permit for it. So we're gonna go talk to a couple dudes that are gonna try to make us play Yu-Gi-Oh! We really don't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! But the Rooster has an airship, so we're gonna act like we're gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh! There is like a full-fledged card game in this game that is not required to do most categories. Some of these levels are pretty, I won't say hard, but get annoying because you want to just run through, and if you bounce or jump, you go extra high. Or if you bash off the wall, you get a lot more height, and you just sit there spinning instead of, you know, going fast. But again, we can fly, so that makes up for it. And since this is God mode, we're just gonna cheat and completely skip this next stage, because I guess that's part of being a god. This is gonna be the first world boss, who we're going to just completely bully. I I've got one ability that I haven't used yet that springs a bunch of confetti in the air that's completely useless in the main game, but since it's sped up to about 300%, it happens fast enough that it's like the boss strat for every boss. Most of these abilities are considerably slower because not only is the speed faster, but all of the animations for all of King Knight's abilities are faster. So we're gonna shoot some confetti and then just spin to win. The confetti is just in case he jumps away, because it'll kill him in midair. I don't have to chase him down. And that's the first boss. There's also a bit of menuing in this run. I think I've done it once or twice so far, but we save and quit anytime we go back up to this airship, because doing so skips all of the overworld animations. So when I come back in, the overworld is already going to be open. Normally there would be kind of a Mario 3, Super Mario World style overworld animation happening, but we get to skip that and just spam through menus. World 2 gets a little bit trickier, but again, we're a god, so most things don't apply to us. There's usually a bottom in most of these screens. If there's not ground, if there's water or just a pit, there's supposed to be a bottom there. But pits don't exist. And this level is the one difference from the any percent speed runs because of the abilities we have. And it's supposed to be an auto-scroller. But if you don't touch these beetles, the auto-scroller just doesn't start. So we can just completely skip beetle and make it to the end. Oh, and lava doesn't hurt either. I don't know why crushing still kills, but I guess every god has to have a weakness or something. That's one of the tighter sections in there. Every time I use these gyro boots, if you get too close to the wall, you start climbing up the wall and end up just, flying in midair. So using them in tight quarters at 300% speed is a little tricky. There's a lot of stuff you can buy in this game. We have all the abilities unlocked. There's armor you can buy. You can even buy armor that does absolutely nothing, which if we get enough money, we might buy the purely cosmetic armor just because, memes. We're gonna make our way through here again. This is one of the trickier levels in any percent run because all of these pots are on a global cycle from screen to screen, even over to these secret exits, which this is something pretty unique to the King Knight campaign, is it has more of a Mario style overworld, including secret exits. So if you've ever owned Shovel Knight, you probably have King Knight now. And if you haven't played it, I would highly recommend it. There's still a pretty active speedrun community around all the Shovel Knight games as well. Would recommend. And lots of fun categories and, not so fun categories. This is going to be the second boss stage. And this boss is a giant fish. And it's really unfortunate because he's so large that he has like 3 hitboxes. So every little confetti we shoot is going to hit him like 9 times. But I want to show something right here in this auto-scroller that we can't skip. We've got this frog power-up that, like, is just a bubble, and if you get to the edge, it, like, bounces around. At the very end of the game, I'm going to use this frog to try to do a pixel-perfect skip at the end of the game to skip a giant auto-scroller. And I never use this frog for anything else, so I just wanted to show what it looks like, because I'm going to be completely off-screen whenever I do it, because the auto-scrollers that are vertical in this game don't have a ceiling, so. Alright, so we're going to shoot some confetti. We're going to go call up the Tropical King, and we'll see what happens. He died. Yeah, the auto-scroller skip on God mode is pretty consistent. And I can get up there quick enough that if I miss it once, I can try it again. There's going to be another vertical auto-scroller before the last level, and they didn't put ceilings on them, which is nice. You can't really interact with anything except the ground that's off-screen, but the goal ring still spawns. So the first one, which is going to be in this next world, it's not really hard. But the one in the last world, there's a one-tile gap with the ladder you can't climb, so that one's a bit tricky. And this is one place I could theoretically die, so we're just going to let that crusher go down. There's a bit of acceleration that happens when you start moving with King Knight before he gets up to full speed. It's easy to get crushed in some of these places if you're not careful. I can actually soft lock right here too in between these two pistons, but we avoided that. Yeah, the gyro boots, they don't give you the climb up the wall. We've got another Tinker Knight stage here, and then we're going to have a couple new themes if you're familiar with the games. All of the other knights, you know, Treasure Knight, Plague Knight, some other knights that I'm sure exist that I can't think of right now, they all spawn as overworld events, and they will never block your path for a theoretical any percent run. Because they're all programmed to, how do I word it? When you unlock a new level, you'll never get a hammer bro will never block your path. Except in New Game Plus, because the game considers you have already beaten the game. So we have to disable map encounters. Alright, so this is one of the new themed stages for King Knight. And this has the auto-scroller we're gonna skip at the end. Try to avoid these cyclones because they will just suck you up and spit you out. Alright, so once the auto-scroller starts, I'm gonna start flying to the top. Get to a ledge up here. That should be it. Yeah, there we go. So after this next level, we're gonna see Spectre Knight again. He's just like, he's brooding and fighting us and losing and fighting us again. But he's gonna have two phases this time, but luckily, if you kill him quick enough, you can like outbeat his healing into the second phase and just not have to fight him. Can't really speed up the wind in this level. Let me fly. No. Okay. Probably the only really annoying gimmick on God mode is the wind still pushes you around. Alright, we're gonna use some more confetti just to make sure Spectre Knight doesn't get to heal up into his second phase. In his first phase, he still has iframes, so we're gonna use the scepter to get 3 points of damage on him. Alright, go the other way. There we go. None of his projectiles, you know, hurt us because, again, God mode. It's also kind of interesting with this category. One of the main things we use in the any percent run for the boss fights is called the turncoat, and it lets you absorb attacks and then like unleash them back at the boss. But since in God mode you can't take damage, that it doesn't even work. Like you can't even use that power up. It's another hurt where we could get crushed. We're just gonna try to go fast. Hey, it worked. We got the third boss, the Birder King, coming up. Just gonna rely on the confetti again. He also has some healing phases that we're just gonna burn through, which this is pretty much the any percent strategy, is you pin him to the top of the ceiling, but the confetti does a lot of extra work there. Oh, this is all supposed to be about a card game. I mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh, but like you're supposed to be becoming a master card player, and that's how you're gonna be the king. But King Knight takes things literally, and so he's just beating the judges instead of beating the judges. Oh, we can go ahead and buy this. We have enough money now. No, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to Mom either. Alright, we're going to buy the stupid shiny armor that costs 999 gold for no reason, except memes. Alright, on to the last world. There's a couple of auto-scroller-y parts in here. Oh, we're all like shiny, and I don't know if I've ever actually bought this armor before, so it is pretty cool. The rules do leave the loophole open. Oh, and it changes your walking animation too. We're all fancy now, look at that. And we're just gonna sit here and not mess around, because I mess around here and get crushed. Thankfully we can abuse the bottom of the screen here. There we go. Two more levels in the final boss, which is probably the most annoying part about this game in general. Because, like, most of the abilities don't work on the final boss. So you just have to, like, beat him into submission, or it's like a giant mech thing. You can do some ice skating here as well, which you ice skate in this game, but it's slow, so we're just going to use the bottom of the screen. So this is the level that's going to end in this giant auto-scroller, which all of the Shovel Knight campaigns end similarly in a big, long auto-scroller. And the reason why this is going to be pixel perfect if I manage to skip it is you're supposed to go up a ladder through a one-tile gap, which King Knight's one-tile gap wide. That's really convenient. But you can't interact with the ladder, so I've got to position myself at the top, which just flying to the top of the screen right now. There's a ledge up here, and I'll be able to get like an audio cue to know that I'm up there. All right, I'm up on the ledge now. Then the frog bubble. I don't think I've got it. No, I need to go. All right, let's try this again. The frog bubble. I think I got it. There we go. Pixel perfect, guaranteed. And that saves a whole bunch of time. Alright, last level, we're gonna fight the Enchantress, as is tradition. We're gonna fight some giant mech combo of all of the bosses we fought previously. And there's nothing to do right here other than... He even has like multiple jump animations now. Why have I not known about this armor before? I'm glad I bought it now. Alright. Just gonna use some more confetti here. And burn down the Enchantress. Alright, and then the quickest thing to do on the final boss is shoot him with these like flying fish unicorn things. But the jump height is so high and so quick, it's really hard to aim and shoot them. So I'm gonna just hop around and look like an idiot shooting fish unicorn things. And then we are gonna glitch the boss out at the end. Shout out to David, the brain freeze strat. Once we get to the final phase, as long as I never touch his hands, it stops moving and we just kill him. So this is phase 1. Oh, come on. All right. So time will be when the he's gonna refill health, and time will be when he's out of health, and we'll be jumping on his head. So just get here, and time will be 3, 2, 1, time. And I'm pretty sure that's a new world record. Yeah, that's definitely a new world record. That was almost a 21. Nice. And that's King of Cards, God Mode, world record in the Memeathon. Yeah, shout out to all the Shovel Knight peeps. Go check us out. Run a game, even if it's like a really fun meme category. If you want to create a new category, we've got extended categories. Come do a thing. Shoutouts to Calithon and my dog who decided to be on his bed instead of the spot he was supposed to be. There you go, right there. Stick around for the rest of the runs. Thanks for having me. Hope to be back, and I'll see y'all around.